much would XRP be if all the money ended up on the XRP ledger? How much would it be? 5 figures, 6 figures or more? We're going to talk about that now. I would like to go over the Valhill Capital collateralization plan again. We are going to look at the plan, the method, the assumptions, and the results. Yes, we will talk about how much XRP is worth if all of these things take place. In 2023, a group of people who were really into XRP and thought deeply about it put this out to show people what the assets might be worth if certain things happened. So it's a little hard to get around in this paper. It is very, very sensitive. I put this paper into Perplexity so that all of the information would be in one place where it would be easier for you to see and for me to read to you. That being said, let's find out what the plan is for this. The name of the model is Collateralization Model. Valhalla Capital is in charge of building it. Financial rules are at the core, and XRP's main purpose is to store value. Approach and model figure out how much all the tokenized assets on the network are worth. We're going to talk about the cash. That's a lot of money. It includes derivatives, private wealth, real estate, global stocks, central bank assets, stocks, money supply, gold, commodities, the US government debt, silver, and a lot more. Don't forget that while you listen to all of this, okay? It's important to note that each tokenized asset is actually a real or digital asset that is currently thought to be very valuable. In this case, the examples are gold, paper money, real estate, stocks, and bonds. Gold is an asset class worth about $22 trillion, 0 cents, if you were interested. As for fiat cash in the US, we're talking about $20, 0 cents, 21 trillion, give or take. There are about $50 trillion at stake. The real estate market is worth $330 trillion, 0 cents around the world. In the US, this could be $50 to $60 trillion worth of stocks and bonds. Second, the bond market is worth about $30 trillion, 0 cents, based on the type of bonds we're talking about, like government bonds. Is a bonds $140 trillion around the world? It was thought to be an extreme method that would look at what would happen if all the money in the world was tokenized on the XRP ledger to make sure there would be enough coverage if that happened, like an insurance policy that would cover most of the worst case situations to make sure there are enough resources. Here are the ideas that the team wrote this study with in mind. Assumptions. All the money in the world was calculated using documented resources, and they name where those resources are. A lot of money that is likely but hard to verify was left out, which means the valuation is conservative. Scenario suggests that all value is tokenized at once, which is not likely to happen, especially in real estate where there are technical issues. It's also hard because some countries have more rules than others, and rules are a very important part of this, because different states and the federal government will need to change rules and other things before you can start tokenizing all of this real estate. The problems are that it's hard to do this all at once because each country will be at a different point with that law. The usefulness of XRP is a big reason why it's likely to be used. But in this model, the value of the asset is not based on how much it is used in deals. No, my tongue isn't rolling. The value of all the money was worked out and split by the total amount of XRP that was available. This shows how much of the total money amount can be used as collateral for each token. The world's value was thought to be tokenized by 2030 in this experiment. That's a big goal for the next 5 years. Let's just be honest about this. There are a lot of documents from different financial companies that talk about tokenizing financial assets and where that will be by 2030. The highest number I've seen is between $30 and $50 trillion, and the lowest number I've seen is only a couple of $1 trillion. The important thing is that the value is coming. We don't know when or how much. Conclusions drawn from the total amount of money will be proven to be worth the same as it is now, $5.30 quadrillion. Each XRP token would have to be worth $12,000, 0 cents. Some people think that XRP is overvalued because not all the money ends up on the XRP ledger, and that XRP is undervalued because more value will account for or come online. But the effects on the financial system could be worse if the product is undervalued, which means if the price of the XRP token is wrong, it might not be enough to cover all the assets, which could cause big problems in the financial system. This method of collateralization could be seen as an extreme case to figure out how much XRP is worth if all the money and assets are tokenized on the XRPO. Even though it's not likely to happen, a bigger value for XRP makes sure that the system can handle it if it does. Insurance policy is like issuing policy. All right, let's look over these ideas. The collateralization method could be seen as the worst case situation for figuring out how much XRP is worth if all of its money and assets are turned into tokens. It's hard to say for sure if that will happen, but a better value for XRP makes sure that the system is ready for it if it does. Like with insurance, it's better to plan for the worst case scenario than to think it won't happen and not have enough value to pay or collateral. So these are the things we're talking about. All the money. Yes, we have said this before. We have 600 trillion in swaps and 464 trillion in private wealth. Home prices are $327 trillion, 0 cents. Global stock prices are $106 trillion, 0 cents. Central bank assets are $67 trillion, 0 cents. Stocks are $61 trillion, 0 cents. And the global money supply is $950 trillion, 0 cents. Gold, this is now 22 trillion. The good, 17. The federal debt is $31 trillion, 0 cents. Millions of tons of silver. Everything that this plan says will happen, all the value in the world will be on the XRPL blockchain. Risk-adjusted coverage ratio takes future cash flow needs into account. Only half of the new XRP that was created is in circulation. That's a bit more expensive now, right? This number would be a little different since only 37 billion is locked up in lockup, and the balance sheet method right now in this point of time shows how much the world is worth. Talks about the North America Water and Power Alliance, which is worth $3 quadrillion, the BIS off-balance FX swaps, which are worth $80 trillion, and the Department of Defense, which is worth $35 trillion. The unfunded, debt is $180 trillion. This value is used in secret or covert projects that are not known to the public. The public doesn't really know this then. They're just guessing. So it does say that the total amount is about 5.3 quadrillion. Right now, this is just the change. 1.25 change, 6.6 quadrillion, 2030 PV10, and a total value of 2.5 quadrillion. Talks about the problems with models, doesn't look at the different FX and benefits of keeping, which is a way to keep things of value. So you should know about HBAR and other businesses that are also trying to tokenize wealth. It's clear that not all the value will end up on one chain, but this is what the model shows. Not able to account for value that is unknown. That was something we talked about. It thinks that reusing XRP transactions doesn't matter. Collateralization means securing a loan with valuable things, which is also known as security. There are some other things that it talks about. We are now going to go through and hit this paper. Let's go. Here, let me show you. This is a BIS clip. This is Augustin Carlson, the general manager, talking about a future where money is tokenized in a two-tier system. So a little